Hey everyone, it's Phil K here from Night Owl Films. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Today's video I'm going to talk about what networking actually is, because a lot of people hear the word, have you been networking, have you networked, and a lot of people actually say, what does it even mean? And I've been watching a lot of masterclass tutorials on YouTube, and when I've been doing my own film project with The Devil Comes Calling, I've kind of clicked on and I thought, you know what, I want to let other young filmmakers out there know what it is. So basically, it sounds easier than it actually is networking, because we always get told email or add someone on Facebook or give them a ring or drop them an email. When they say to network, what they actually mean is this: find people who are on your wavelength with similar interests or similar collaboration project ideas. So, for example, when I was looking for freelancers to work with me on The Devil Comes Calling, I looked for people who as odd, as obvious as it'll sound, but odd as well, who I liked and admired. Not so much as the personality of the individual, but what taste they have in the arts and crafts. So when I was looking for the music composer, for example, I knew I had to find someone who understood horror music, understood how to scare the audience, and it's not easy to do. And I had to go through quite a lot of demos to try and find the right composer. And when I did eventually find him, we just we clicked, we gelled, because he had similar interests to me, and he knew what I was aiming for. We were able to work together to deliver what is on The Devil Comes Calling. And when I say wavelength, the chemistry, if there's no chemistry there, it won't work. It's sort of like going on a new job. When you go on a new job, you either click with some people or you don't, or you gel with some people and some you don't. With creative work, however, you need to find that little niche click, that little gel, that spark point. Because if you don't find that, you're not going to be able to work with this individual moving forward. And the reason I know that is, when I was looking for a sound designer, I was bombarded with quite a few people, and some of them obviously just randomly message you, just saying, if you want to work with me, drop me a message, etc. And then you get others who show genuine interest in the projects that you have. And when when I'm emailing the obviously the applicants, you get a sense through email of the type of attitude they have, the work, the mannerism in which they collaborate, and then ultimately it's the phone call to break the ice. Now, with the phone calls, I always ask very specific questions in a certain order to establish whether this person is going to gel with me. I had a few people who you could tell were only interested in the money, you could tell were only interested in making their portfolio bigger, or they just wanted a short horror film under the belt. Those type of people I don't work with. I work with people who want to make work what I am working for. And on that, I'm going to give just a few tips on how to search for the right people to network with and to work with and ultimately collaborate with. So with a casting call or a crew call, I always put as much detail as possible I can into them, and whenever I receive a response, let's say for example I've said please email only Night Owl Films, if I get an inbox through my Facebook, I'll ignore it, because I haven't asked for an inbox through Facebook. So it's about attention to detail, and without sounding like I'm condescending anyone here, when you are looking for people to hire to pay to work on your project, you're looking for people who can follow instructions, can listen to guidelines, understand attention to detail, understand details are important, because otherwise, in the long run, they're not going to be able to do stuff. And I remember I had quite a few calls to find a sound designer. Few people, when they're on the phone to me, I could tell just by listening that they were keeping themselves at a distance, and they just wanted me to tell them what to do and then take the money. Doesn't work like that. And then I found some who were interested, but I could tell they wanted babysitting. They didn't know what to do. It's like, well, why have you applied for a job if you're going to expect me to babysit you? That's not how this works. You come to me and tell me what you can bring to the project. Tell me what you can add to this investment. And when you're on the phone, it's a lot more different, obviously, because you're hearing the person's voice. But that's the good thing. You can hear it in their voice, the tone, if there's any chemistry, any charisma, any enthusiasm. Are they proactive? Do they use their initiative? I had a few phone calls, and there was a few people from abroad who literally just wanted to work on it, but they wanted just to be given instructions on what to do, and that was it. There was no creativity there. There was no spark. There was no passion. Those type of people, they will not help you with a project. They will just literally do the basic effort minimum and take the money. People who want to grow and develop a career, like me though, for example, you look for people with a similar approach. And when you network with people, you're looking for people who you can ultimately be long-term contacts with. And it's very important that you establish those contacts in a way that you think, you know what, yeah, I like working with this person. I've got them on the books. I can go back to them now if I want to, if they're available. And when you do put a call out, and obviously you do find someone, it's a fantastic feeling. And that feeling is what networking is. It's about feeling that that person is on the same wavelength. They understand what your goal is, what you're aspiring, hoping to achieve, and they're there to support you in the way they can. And when you do that, as I say, it's an amazing feeling, because you feel like you've got a team together. You've found, the roots of the project, and you build it up. Now, I won't name names, but when you are looking for freelancers to work with you, there's a few things you do need to look out for, and these are not as obvious as they sound. I remember I did an interview with one guy from Manchester. I won't name names. And this gentleman was very, very eager to get me on the phone with him. Didn't know why. He was just very, very keen to speak with me on the phone, as if he'd watched the film, he'd made notes on what needed addressing, and he wanted to tell me about it. It was the complete opposite way around. He got me on the phone, dropped it on me that he hadn't even seen the film yet, and then he was watching the film whilst I was on the phone. I wasn't amused by it whatsoever, but I went along with it. And then he started nitpicking, criticising, saying this won't work, that won't work, you might need to reshoot this, you might need to reshoot that. And I thought to myself, is this guy actually telling me what to do and how to change the script? Because that's not what I've put a call out for. I've put a call out for a sound designer. And then I got the usual sales pitch and whatnot, and I could tell he genuinely thought I was going to say, yes, I'll take you on board. But when he told me how fast the turnaround was going to be, and then the price of it, I immediately just said, I'm sorry, but no. And it wasn't about compromising on the price. I could tell this guy had done this before. Puts himself in his office, comes out with all the sales pitch rubbish, and then at the last moment drops the big price on you. And I didn't say anything over the phone at the time, but looking back, very unprofessional in my opinion. And I immediately took this individual off Facebook, and he actually tried to re-add me and I ignored it. And then I found other posts that other people had worked with him saying, this individual is brilliant, blah 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 blah. And I thought, you really don't know quite what you're doing, do you? Because you don't go around slagging a filmmaker's film off and expecting them to use your services still, you don't do it. Had he approached me and said, I've got some constructive criticism, fair enough, let's move forward, let's see if we can make this work. I couldn't believe the call, and it lasted a good 2 hours, the call. And afterwards, it was just, the emotion inside me was very cold. There was no connection. I just thought, you're just trying to milk me for money here. You've showed no understanding of the film or of the goal that we are trying to achieve. You're just after money. It's those type of people you do not want to work with, because at the end of the day, if someone's only after the money, they're not going to be up for the best interests of the project. And when I did eventually find the sound designer that we used, it was nerve-wracking, because it was like I'd already had to let go of one of them because they were too busy and I needed it doing ASAP. And eventually I thought, you know what, leave it to them, they know what they're doing. And as the weeks went on, things were like, but then I said to them, right, this is what we need to do, let's do this. And it worked. We moved forward. We were both a bit touch and go, but ultimately you've got to trust your gut instincts. Now, when you get to moments like that, when you're doing post-production, you've got to follow your gut instinct, and you've got to let the freelancer's talent develop within itself. You can't force it. If something isn't working, there's a reason why it isn't working. And when you know that the freelancer you're working with, you are comfortable with, you can openly say that to them. You can say, look, this is not working. I completely appreciate what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work the way we hope it will. Can we try another route, please? That type of confidence to say to someone that you will not get from a person who just wants the money. And that's why I've made this video, because the amount of people on social media and other job boards that post up brilliant looking films and opportunities, and you get people saying, oh, I'm interested. There will be people out there that are interested. You have to find the ones that are not just interested, but who want to grow within themselves and help you grow with your career as well. Because down the road, that is ultimately going to be a long journey. It's going to be, a partnership. You work together, you make better projects, and because of that, you've got to think to yourself, you know what, whoever I do bring on my team, they've got to be on my team, and I've got to be comfortable having them on my team. If you don't have that, you don't have a team. It's, as said earlier, it's similar to when you start a new job. There's always going to be colleagues and staff who you can't stand and who you just don't want to be around. If that's the type of vibe you get from anyone you're working with on a project and you've hired them, you've probably not hired the best person. They may have the talent there, and that's why you may want to do it. I'm not one of those type of people. If the person isn't great themselves, the talent I'm not bothered about, because I have to be able to work with that individual. And that's another thing. There's a lot of people out there who they'll claim they are, what you're looking for, but they're not. And it's just about asking the right questions, getting a sense of, can I really get along with this person? Because filmmaking, it comes from the heart. It does. True filmmaking comes from the heart. And when you reach out to other filmmakers or freelancers, you're looking for people who do it because they love it, not to pay the bills, but because they love to do it. And those people are the ones who will bring out the best for your project. And finally, it's like a little family. You've got to be able to know that if there's any conflicts or any issues that arise, you can fix them straight away. You are the boss. You have got to make sure that, you're managing your team, everyone has the skill set required for what you need, the experience, to ultimately let them go about their devices to bring you something back that will add value to your end product. Without that, you've got nothing. It's all good and well saying, oh, well, I'll get me mum or me dad to do it, or I'll get me mate, or I'll get me sister, or I'll get me cousin. They're not going to help you in the long run, because they're doing it because you're family. Professionals do it because they are good at it, they love it, they enjoy it. Some of them make money off it, some of them make a living out of it, some of them do it as a hobby. But either way, when you are networking with people, look for people who pay attention to detail, who listen, who explain, analyse, have debates with them. If you can't have a normal conversation with your crew, it's not going to work out. And on that note, I do wish everyone out there making projects all the best, and keep networking, because it's a big world out there. The internet is open to countless opportunities, and when you find the right people to be on your team, it's a godsend. Cheers everyone, and have a good night.